What's up, you guys? It is Ohaji back here with Introverted Investors. So, we got good news. We got 3 lots that we got to go look at today. I got 2 sellers. They're looking at one of them has 2 lots, one of them is a different one. They're both interested in selling. One of them is a lot that I got from some of my signs that you seen me put out in my last video. And then 2 of them I got just from texting and cold calling. I didn't get it on camera, unfortunately, but stuff happens when you're in when you're actually in that mode. Sometimes I forget to turn the camera on. But I got 3 lots we're gonna go look at. After we get done looking at those, we're gonna come back. We're gonna run our numbers, figure out what we're gonna offer them, and we're gonna make our offer today. So you gotta stay tuned. This right here, this little piece of land in between these 2 houses. I've already spoke with the seller. Marketed out to him earlier this week. Told him I would go stop by and see it. This street literally has a lot more vacant lots just like this one. So I think we're going to be making an offer on this one today. All right, so I'm gonna take some pictures of this real quick for my sellers and package it up. So I actually grew up not too far from this little neighborhood right here. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next one. It's not that far from here. I market to the same zip codes because that's where my buyers are buying the most at. That's where I can make the most money. So I've kind of got an idea of, see, because with the O2 method, you kind of understand what you can offer. I know what I can offer, but I'm going to try to get a decent amount on this deal. So we are at the second location. I didn't feel like getting out, but I can get out. This is the second location. We got neighbors all on it. This is the second one. This one's very clean. This one might be a for sure you're right on. What Keith Lee say? For sure you're right on. So this is the area I grew up. I also sold another piece of land right down the street. And it looks like they got new builds right in front of me now that I'm looking at it. This is definitely new builds. So yeah, they're doing a lot of little renovations up here. So we definitely in the right area. And driving down this street, I done already seen 3 or 4 different lots. So I'm finna try for dollars and get some of their addresses so I can go ahead and move on them as well. And look, we gotta eat, bro. We gotta eat. It's time. And the most beautiful part about it all is I can also get these addresses of these new builds down. That way we can go ahead and have even more buyers. Build our buyers. But man, look, we're back. I had a good time. I found so many lots. That's actually an area that I grew up in. So I love going back to see that area, to see how it's developing over the years. Because when I lived there, it was run down. If you know what you're looking at, you can see that there is so much opportunity and so much potential in this area. So I had a great time in that car, just me and myself. I'm listening to my little motivational stuff, and. But anyway, we're back now. I said we were gonna run our numbers, but I kind of already know my numbers because of the O2 method. If you're not familiar with that, go check out my video on how I came up with the O2 method and what it is. But with the O2 method, I don't have to constantly run comps. I literally run it one time for that whole zip code. So once I get all that figured out, I already know what my offer is. Like I said, for these lots, 38112 right now, builders are paying at least 11,500. Literally, as long as I get to under 11,500, we're good. But what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get it for 20 cents on the dollar. And I'm not going to sell it to my builder for 11.5 because to me, it's all about building relationships. So if I can cut him some slack where he can make a little bit extra on the back end, he's gonna want to come to me and buy way more lots. So I'm giving up some of my profit right now, but I'm gonna make a lot more of it on the back end. So like I said, we kind of already know what we're gonna offer. I try not to make blind offers. I try to get the seller to tell me what they think the property is worth and what they want for it. So that way I can tell if they're truly motivated or if they're, just wanting to sell the property. Because sometimes you might get somebody who has a lot and they're like, man, I want 30,000 for it. And it's like, my number's is 5, but I could do 10 at the most, but it's definitely not gonna sell for 30. And what I typically do when I get those type of sellers, I let some time pass. I follow up 6 months later, and most of the time they're readjusted. They done seen, okay, it's not gonna sell for what I want it for. Hopefully I don't even gotta try to bring him down or anything. Hopefully he just out the gate said, yeah, I want 5,000 for it. But sometimes I get sellers like that, so maybe he'll be one of those. We don't know. We'll see. What's up, you guys? So we're back. We made our offers. We had 2 different sellers. We made 3 offers today. We had one that was in 38114 and 2 of them that was in 38112. So on the first one, I contacted the seller, asked if he owned the property. He said yes. And, he said, as long as you pay the taxes on it, I can have the property. Come to find out, he already sold the property. He thought that when I reached out to him, maybe legally he still owned it and he was trying to figure out. That's why he was like, if you pay the taxes, you can have it. But he had sold it last year, and I guess he just didn't know that it had registered in the system. And for some reason, PropStream has it that he still owns it, but he doesn't. Reached out to him, let him know that it was already sold last year. He said, I thought it was. I was pretty sure it was sold, but you kind of had me second guessing. So I asked him if he had any other lots he was interested in selling, and he didn't. So that was a no on that one. Now on the other 2, they are both owned by the same seller. Contacted him. One of them, he was a little more hesitant to sell. I gave him an offer on the first lot first. It was in 38114 as well. Reached out to him and made him an offer of 5,000, and he was like, "Nah, he's not in a hurry to sell. He's not as motivated. A motivated seller is somebody who is in a dire situation who needs to sell now. He wasn't as motivated, but he was interested in selling. So we went ahead and offered him 5,000 on the lot in 38114. He, like I said, wasn't as motivated, so he was like, I'll just hold on to it. Like I was saying, he wasn't as motivated as I would have liked, but I'm not in the game of trying to persuade anybody. So I let him know where we stood. I let him know, I gave him my offers. On the second lot, now that one is in a little area that has more new builds in it. So we offered 8 on that one. Now on that one, I had a buyer already interested, and we were going to sell it for 10 and get it locked up at 8. Because he didn't bite on the first one, I was a little more skeptical, but I just made my offer anyway because, like I said, I'm not in the game of trying to persuade anybody. I am in the game of finding people who are in dire situations and just adding some value to those guys. Them 8, and he responded fast and basically said like he already had somebody that reached out to him and had a higher offer. So I let him know, hey, that sounds good. I hope it works out for you, because like I said, we are not in the game of persuasion. We're in the game of finding people who are in dire situations and just adding value. Like I said, I don't care if you sell it to me or the next guy. As long as you get what you're looking for out of it, that's fine with me. So he got a higher offer. I said, hey, I'm happy for you. Now, if anything changes, if your buyer falls through or anything, we are still here. I let you know our numbers. We're at 8. Because I got to make something. $2,000 is not a lot, but I got to make something. So in that area, you have a lot of wholesalers in that area. We don't know if this is a wholesaler or if it's an actual buyer. So there's a possibility of the seller coming back and spinning the block, is what I call it. He might spin the block and be like, hey, you know what? That seller fell through, so we're going to go ahead and go with you. That's why I responded the way that I did, to leave room for him to reach back out to me and spin the block. I'm not looking to persuade no one. If you don't want to sell, that is perfectly fine with you. I'm looking for people who own land. Basically, it could have been probate. It could have been you bought the land thinking you were going to build on it. I'm looking for people who have land that are not building on it, not moving with it, and it is just a liability for them. Those are the people that I'm reaching out to. Now, if I reach out to somebody and they have a lot and they're not as motivated to sell, I'm not going to persuade you. That's not my job. I'm not in the persuasion game. I'm in the buying and selling game. So like I said, made offers. It didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, but in this game, sometimes things don't go your way. The whole time they're always going your way. So even though he didn't accept the offer, hey, there's more land to buy. So you're not hurting my feelings. We're gonna move on to the next one, but I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for episode 2, or this is episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3. Till next time, I love you guys. Appreciate you for stopping by. Peace out.